Hello everyone, this is Hiro from Clan Gerudo, and I'm bringing you a replay commentary played on Alpine Ridge between myself and Victrix Clan's Gardemeer, who is a rank 10 leadership general. My own general is also a rank 10 leadership general, and the main purpose of this video is to go over some do's and don'ts about cavalry engagements primarily, as well as I also wanted to share some things that I have learned since I've joined Clan Gerudo. One of the things that I have learned is to actually put my matchlocks and infantry into a separate wing of my army, meaning that you put, for example, your matchlocks and you group them with a Yari Ashigaru or another infantry unit, and move them separately in a separate control group than your main army. That allows you to set them up easier when you're moving your army, as well as being able to keep them hidden in trees, for example, to support an ambush by cavalry or anything like that. The other thing that I have also learned and found useful is that especially if you have a leadership general, it's good to just simply dismount them and keep them in loose formation, so that they can get in and out of stand and fight, rather quickly. And the loose formation also helps them to mitigate a little bit of bow fire should they come into range of any enemy bow units. The other thing that I wanted to share in this video is it's a little bit of I'm not sure how to call it. You could call it cavalry abuse or exploit, because there's a little bit of a discrepancy as to whether CA intended cavalry to behave this way in when they fight each other and when they fight infantry, or whether it's a bug. But I guess we'll find out in the next patch. Anywho, my army is comprised of 6 loansword units with basic upgrades in melee attack, melee defense, and morale, as well as 1 unit of Waco Raiders, who I am moving back into my main army, and 3 Yari Ashigaru non-vet and 1 long Yari Ashigaru. My cavalry is comprised of 1 light cavalry, 1 bow cavalry non-vetted, and 1 high vet warrior monk cavalry, and 2 Yari Cav with only upgrades in melee defense. My opponent is bringing also a sword core army made up of 2 loansword Ashigaru with basic upgrades, as well as 3 non-vet katana samurai. I really dislike non-vet katana samurai because I don't think they're worth it, but you'll see why. He's also got Yari Ashigaru to back up his army. He's also brought 2 units of bows against my 1 bow warrior monks. However, I do have the extended range, so we'll begin a bow skirmish here. He's doing a good job by keeping a unit of Yari Ashigaru to back up his bow, just in case I try any calf charges. But you'll see how not so effective that is. This is another thing that I've learned from my clanmates at Gerudo is how to kind of do and not do bow skirmishing. So I'm bringing my bow cab off to the flank in order to avoid their bow fire and be able to take my own shots at them, while I move my other bow warrior monk back and forth in order to abuse my range advantage. I also bring my Yari Ashigaru to the front in loose formation, just so that if my opponent is keeping fire at will on, it will his bow units will basically take shots at my Yari Ashigaru instead of my more important bow units. Apart from that, I am staying in this position right here instead of inside the trees, because I want to keep my army close to the armor dojo, the workshop, in order to take advantage of this building covering my flank. You'll see that buildings like this, you cannot just send your units right through. They actually have to walk around them, and that's actually quite something. It's quite useful to kind of take advantage of. I'm keeping my cavalry in these trees hidden just in case he decides to bring his Katana Cav and Yari Cav, you know, to attack my flank or my main army. Right here, I'm able to get lucky and get a nice charge into his Daikyu Samurai. You'll see how effective light cavalry can be. Their main advantage is that they're very fast and they're very cheap. So you shouldn't be afraid of like just throwing this, you know, unit away, so long as you're able to do, you know, enough damage to the enemy. Already, my light cavalry have gotten, you know, 50, let's see, 60 kills already. So they more than pay for themselves. I have routed this Daikyu Samurai, although my light cav has routed, so I'm not able to finish off and shatter, you know, this unit. So eventually, as they run towards their general, they will basically come back from their route. Right here, my opponent tries to charge my bow cav, and not knowing that I have these units hidden right here. And I tried to ambush him, but I jump on the trigger a little bit too quickly, and he just simply runs away. I should have waited a little bit more until my matchlocks were in position to actually take fire, and or even use my bow cav to engage his Yari cav, and sacrifice my bow cav in order to let my matchlocks, you know, take out his Yari cav. He's bringing his cavalry up, but this time, 2 Katana Cav are very deadly versus sword infantry, especially lone swords. So it's actually one of my priorities is to try to negate this advantage that my opponent has in terms of cavalry. Apart from that, my opponent is bringing his Daikyu Samurai forward. I'm guessing he's bringing them like this unsupported in order to try to make me waste my ammo on them, since they are at 1/3 strength already. It wouldn't be a bad idea to to bait me into using up my my arrows on them. He's bringing up his bow warrior monks forward as well, backed up by the Yari Ashigaru. This is one mistake that he makes, in that it's really important to keep your, especially if you have a leadership general, to keep your bow missile units within your general's stand and fight aura, because they get a huge boost to their reload time. Here he's going to try to flank my army with his Katana Cav. I send out only one of my Yari Cav out, which is to bait his Yari Cav into engaging me. He does this, and at this point I bring out my second Yari cavalry unit to try to get a surround on his cav. And you'll see my Yari cav is beginning to rout right here, but I'm basically just gonna force them out of that engagement. And as soon as that happens, you'll see my opponent's Yari cav wavering, and mine basically their morale becomes normalized again. It's I don't know whether that's intended or not, but I'm basically using my monk cav as well as that hurt Yari cav to charge into the back of the Katana cav that charge into my bows. You'll see here both one of his Yari cav units routes at half strength. The other Yari cav has already routed. His katana are being surrounded by my spears and my cav. I take a volley of fire arrows, which kind of sucks, but it was worth it to get rid of the katana cav threat. And here the rest of his katana cav will be routing shortly, as I bring my long Yari Ashigaru with 30 bonus versus cavalry to engage these and clean them up. This is why I like bow cav so much, not only because of their harassment with with their bows, but because you can also turn them into a quick charge unit. I mean, here I just charge into these bow monks, breaking the unit up, and then simply run away from the Yari Ashigaru. Also, with the Yari Ashigaru, especially if they're not upgraded, you shouldn't be afraid of charging your cavalry right into them. The only time you should be worried about charging into Yari Ashigaru is if they are in spear wall or Yari wall formation. Other than that, Yari Ashigaru routes so quickly that you can simply just charge your cavalry in and out of them and just basically break them up without taking hardly any casualties. You'll see that my Monk have only lost. Oh, sorry about that. 5 units. Now I'm gonna go ahead and fast forward this again, as basically what I'm gonna try to do next is to try and pick off his matchlocks, but my enemy is going to retreat and keep his matchlock safe, and will not be able to get much done apart from that. Now at this point, my opponent has 2 choices. He can either rush me, since he has lost the bow skirmish as well as the cavalry early action to use one of Fish and Sandwich's favorite terms. And he's decided to move up his army instead of retreating into a better position. When I see him crossing this stretch of water, I decide also to move up as well. I'm gonna try to use my bow warrior monks and my bow cav to try and take out his matchlocks, but he's gonna be rushing he's gonna be rushing his infantry fairly quickly, and I won't get a chance to do much in terms of damage. So the other dude, you'll see that I kind of overlooked the Yari cav that he had hidden here in the woods, and I'm trying to move my my Waco Raiders hidden to trying to get a good position to flank with them, but I get found out rather quickly and rather stupidly. However, all is not lost. You'll see his cav just coming right out as soon as he discovers my my Waco Raiders here, and you would think that all things being equal, that a Yari cav unit should be able to kind of destroy this out of position Waco Raider, but you'll soon realize that one big difference between Yari cav and Waco Raiders is that Waco Raiders actually have this trait, which is resistant to morale shocks, which is a trait that most samurai and monk units have, and Yari cav actually don't. And you'll see that even though I lost about 30 men in this charge alone, that would have routed Ashigaru infantry almost immediately. However, in this case, they don't. I mean, their morale goes way down to red, but it quickly comes back up, and this infantry unit actually does quite well against this Yari cav. So when it comes to Yari cav, is don't leave Yari cav not moving in infantry. You always want to move them in and out, otherwise you're basically throwing that unit away. Obviously, it's kind of hard to do that micro when you're doing everything else. At this point, my enemy's only hope is to try to snipe my general with his matchlocks, and I kind of stupidly left my general in front of my my other units, so I quickly move him back. I lost half my bodyguard, but luckily I haven't lost my general yet. I wasn't even in stand and fight. And this was also a mistake, not only for leaving them engaged to my infantry, but also because he should have just completely avoided this this engagement and just kind of gone around and tried to smack his cavalry into the back of my loanswords or matchlocks. I returned the favor and I tried to snipe the enemy general in stand and fight. I'm also having my bow warrior monks take pot shots at his matchlocks, and that basically quickly wraps up this engagement. I outnumber my opponent. I won the skirmish, the bow skirmish, as well as the cavalry fight, and that was the end of that. I hope you enjoyed this commentary.